We spend a lot of time wondering whether we're normal, whether the things that we're experiencing are normal, or if our test results are normal. I think you should aspire not to be normal. Today, we'll talk about several ways I think being abnormal will put more years lived in good health into your future. Let's not be normal together. As Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. You're listening to the Health Courage Collective podcast episode 206, Don't Be Normal 2.0. Welcome to the Health Courage Collective podcast, the show for women who are too busy to slog through hours of generalized, inapplicable, and often contradictory health information, but too smart to ignore that a few minutes of focused attention now can prevent years of suffering in the future. I'm your host, Christina Hackett, a pharmacist who doesn't want you to live on prescriptions, a certified coach specifically trained to maximize your potential, and a compulsive learner obsessed with preventative, cutting-edge, holistic, and integrative medicine. I'm on a mission to increase your physical and mental resilience so you can fearlessly look forward to your next 40-plus limitless years. Your time is now. Let's go. Hey, welcome to another episode. How are you today? I hope you've had a great week. How is your homocysteine? I doubt that you've had time to get it checked in the past 7 days, but I hope that understanding what it tells you about your risk of cardiovascular diseases and or dementia and all the other things helps you live a more powerful life by knowing what it means next time you get your blood tested. It's not a normal fix it any way you can and your life gets better kind of risk marker. So that's what makes it tricky, but it does give you power over your future health if you approach it correctly. Okay, today is episode 206. That's 205 times that I've ended a podcast episode by saying, don't be normal. I hope it makes sense to you that I want you to be abnormal by not having to stop living before you die or spend all of your retirement time and money managing the common diseases of aging that are widely considered to be normal parts of aging, or thinking about menopause or aging in general the way most people do. Podcast episode 3 is named Don't Be Normal, and I thought it might be time for a Don't Be Normal 2.0, a little refresher on the ways we need to be vigilant to not do what everyone else does or think the way everyone else thinks, if what we want for ourselves is to live and give more as we get older rather than less. I find reminders helpful to keep me on track, so I hope you do too. In episode 3, I shared one of my favorite quotes of all time by Jiddu Krishnamurti. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. End quote. As far as our health is concerned, we don't want to be normal in the eyes of Western society. According to what I've been able to find, here are some statistics about normality. The United States is ranked 35th out of 169 countries measured for the health of its population. But it's number 1 in healthcare spending by a very large margin. So we spend way more than all of them, but we are sicker than 34 of them. 75% of healthcare spending in the U.S. is spent treating preventable chronic diseases. The average American over age 65 is on more than 5 prescription medications. 80% of Americans over age 50 have at least one chronic illness, and over 50% have more than one. 71% of Americans have not properly saved for retirement. The average American couple, if neither of them have to go to a long-term care facility, will spend about $295,000 on healthcare costs during their retirement. The mean body fat percentage of American women over age 60 is 42%. 60% of a typical American citizen's daily calories come from ultra-processed food. 60%. Oh my gosh. A 2016 study by the Mayo Clinic showed that less than 3% of Americans meet the basic qualifications for living a healthy lifestyle. What do you think about those? If statistics don't make you totally zone out, here are a few more. 78.2% of American women over age 60 have cardiovascular disease, and 91.8% of women over age 80 have cardiovascular disease. That's pretty huge. The risk of having a stroke is 8% for women over age 60 and 17% for women over age 80. Women over age 65 have a lifetime risk of developing dementia of 19%. For men, it's only 10.9%. 66% of women over age 60 have osteopenia, and 1 in 10 have osteoporosis. As you know, osteopenia and osteoporosis greatly increase your risk of breaking a bone. Of women who break their hip, only 25% make a full recovery. It means 75% do not. That is devastating. 65% of Americans over age 65 experience pain, and 36% suffer from chronic pain. 1 in 3 women will develop cancer, and 1 in 6 will die from cancer. Here's one that I found kind of shocking and kind of not. According to a health information group called Helio, 1.8% of menopausal women report using hormone replacement therapy. If you really know and understand all of your options and are offered hormone help should you want it and choose not to use hormone replacement therapy, then I think that's great. But that's not why 98.2% of women don't use hormone replacement therapy. I was listening to one of my favorite doctors named Peter Attia talk to another doctor named Rachel Rubin the other day. It was so awesome. I'll put a link in the show notes to their conversation if you want to hear it. Dr. Rachel was saying that less than 6% of OBGYN, internal medicine, and family practice physicians receive just 1 hour of menopause education during their medical training. Those are the exact practitioners we would see about menopause. OBGYNs, family practice doctors, and internal medicine doctors. 94% of them don't get a single hour of education about menopause. Peter and Rachel both said that they received exactly 0 minutes of training, but they were both told that hormones are dangerous. That was it. Given that 50% of the population goes through menopause and it affects their risk for a whole host of preventable illnesses, and even more importantly, the way their organs and body systems function and respond to treatment, this is a travesty. It's really, really bad. But of course, we're all taught to be good patients and put our full trust in the medical system just the way it is. A medical system that is absolutely marvelous at treating diseases that can kill you quickly. It's really great. But one that tries to use all of those same wildly successful strategies in attempting to treat diseases that kill you slowly. And that does not work. It's normal to be a passive patient who looks for something outside of themselves to come fix them. A pill for an ill, a magical surgery. It does work great when you break your ankle, get strep throat, get into a skateboarding accident, or come down with flesh-eating bacteria. But while that framework is still the normal way to deal with preventable chronic illnesses that we are told are normal parts of aging, it is definitely not putting more years lived in good health into our futures. It's normal to wish we didn't have to suffer. It's normal to think that the only way to achieve that is to not get old. It's normal to worship and admire and long for youth and to detest and dread old age. That's what all of society and media does. It hangs on every word a 21-year-old athlete mutters and ignores the hard-won wisdom offered to us by the aged. It's normal to have a vague wish for our future, and abnormal to have a specific plan for our future. I would say it's even abnormal to know exactly what you want to be able to do as an 80-year-old or a 90-year-old. Most people don't have a concrete idea. Getting specific about what you want to be able to do in the future is what informs what you work on and what you ignore today. What little preventative medicine there is today is usually based on whether your lab data is, quote, normal. But what is normal for lab data is what is common among the population, not what is optimal. You don't want to be normal. You don't want your physiology to function the way the majority of the population does. If you want to be able to do things in your 90s that most people in their 90s aren't able to do, your biology needs to be functioning optimally, not normally. You don't want normal 60-year-old kidney and liver function when you're in your 60s. You want average 60-year-old kidney and liver function when you're in your late 90s. You don't want normal insulin levels. You want optimal insulin levels. There's a difference. You don't want good medical treatment for your hardened arteries. You want to prevent or drastically delay atherosclerosis in the first place. It's normal to get overwhelmed with the sheer volume of healthy things we think we should be doing and to berate ourselves for not doing them all. Abnormal to start with a plan of what we're actually trying to create for our future, fully understand what is statistically most likely to prevent that from happening, and then only work on the one action at a time that we're reasonably confident is the highest leverage action we can take to tip the odds in our favor. It's abnormal, but it works. And when you ignore all the other nonsense and focus on learning how to fall in love with your highest leverage action, what's best for your health and what's most enjoyable to do become, for you, the same. It's not normal to live more as you get older rather than less, but with a few carefully made choices now, it's possible. It's not normal to live in your 70s and 80s without several chronic diseases, especially cardiovascular disease like high blood pressure, plaque in your arteries, heart attacks, strokes, etc. As you age, your risk of neurodegenerative diseases like dementia also goes up, as do your risk of cancer and mobility limitations and chronic pain. And all of those chronic diseases are fueled by less than optimal metabolic health. That means that having high insulin levels, which after a while leads to high glucose levels, which after a while leads to prediabetes and then eventually to type 2 diabetes, increases your risk of all of the major chronic diseases of aging. And having good metabolic health with low insulin levels and proper blood glucose levels decreases your risk of those things. It's not normal to be physically strong in your 80s and 90s, especially for women. To be able to carry things, climb stairs, and get up from the floor in your 90s takes a lot of advanced preparation. You have to be very strong and have a lot of muscle mass right now to be able to do those things in your 90s. It's not normal to age according to an intelligent plan that specifically aims to prevent or drastically delay all of the things that are statistically most likely to kill you. This means knowing what is most likely to put an end to the years you live in good health and what exactly to do today to prevent or drastically delay those things from happening. Having a plan is something you have to do for yourself with the input of professionals to help you, but it makes everything way easier and less overwhelming. No more scattered health advice coming at you from all directions or feeling like you have to do a ton of different things or hoping that someone else, like a primary care doctor, is doing right by you. It's not normal to get what you actually need from the healthcare system. Sad but true, because it's really a sick care system, and it's pretty great at that, which is awesome. We need that. But if you're actually after wellness and increasing your health span, you'll need to be more proactive and more informed than almost everyone else. The standard of care is not for you. Act accordingly. It's not normal to know and track the metrics that actually provide valuable data about your health span. It takes all the drama and worry out of aging. It's just a data game, which is pretty cool if you think about it. It's not a popularity contest. It's not about who has the most money. It's not even about who has the most willpower, the biggest ability to deny themselves pleasure, or the most supportive family that all live for kale smoothies and 200-mile bike rides. There are a few key measurements that will give you a ton of information about how likely you are to stay in good health and that will tell you whether any actions you're taking are working or not working to keep you in good health. That's it. All you have to do is try out something you can reasonably fit into your current life and measure to see if it's doing what matters to put more years lived in good health into your future or not. That's all there is. No drama. Send me a message at healthcouragecollective@gmail.com if you want a list of metrics that I think matter. Hey, it's not normal to be metabolically healthy so your mitochondria can work correctly to produce enough energy to make you feel really good and to keep your risk of chronic diseases low, like we talked about earlier. It's not normal to eat real food. That makes me really sad, but it's true, and you can do a lot to improve your future by being abnormal and eating actual food, the real food that your body is marvelously designed to thrive on, the kind of stuff your great-grandma would have eaten. It's not normal to understand your female hormones, how they function before menopause, what happens to them during perimenopause and menopause, and the role that that all plays in your longevity. Even most doctors don't really get it. Hormones influence so much, and doing the work to understand them a little better gives you a better appreciation of how much they matter, and it gives you a leg up on your longevity, whatever you decide to do about whether you want to replace them or not. It's not normal to be able to confidently dismiss lots of the healthy actions you're told you need to do. When you know exactly what you're trying to make happen, what assets you need to accomplish it, and the only action you're focusing on right now to move that plan forward, you can actually make progress. We all have a limited channel capacity, and trying to do everything wastes our precious resources, and way worse, it makes us feel like we're failing ourselves. Knowing the one thing we're working on, why it matters, and what exactly we need to do today puts more years lived in good health into our future. It's not normal to feel the peace and joy of living in alignment with your highest values. When you teach yourself that you are capable of consistently doing what your higher self most wants you to do, you experience joy and freedom. It's not normal to hold yourself to a high standard and still be incredibly kind to yourself. It's a skill that we probably all need to learn to improve. When you can do it, you improve your ability to drive your life forward. Lastly, it's not normal for the things that are best for you and the things that are most enjoyable for you to become the same. But with deliberate work, it is possible, and it's pretty freaking fun. I would love to help get you there. Jodie Foster once said, normal is not something to aspire to, it's something to get away from. So let's do it. I'm so glad that you don't want to be normal, because I know that the world is a better place when you're engaged with it and operating at your best. Thank you so much for being awesome and for being here today. Next week, we're going to talk about magnesium. It's estimated that around 80% of the American population is magnesium deficient, so it's definitely not normal to have optimal levels of magnesium. Until then, don't be normal. Thank you so much for tuning into the Health Courage Collective podcast. I am truly honored that you have paid me the enormous compliment of your time and attention. I would be so grateful if you would share this podcast with someone you know and subscribe so you never miss an episode. This podcast is for entertainment and information purposes only. Statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Christina Hackett and producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse events by use of information contained herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.